Hey friends, welcome back to Willow Creek Homestead. My name is Kenzie if you are new around here, and I'm just going to go ahead and apologize for the raspiness in my voice. Many of you guys know I have been battling sicknesses back to back and recently battling COVID. So I'm still recovering. My voice is still pretty shot, but in today's video, we are going to be trying three new Thanksgiving recipes. And spoiler alert, you guys, these turned out incredible. My husband definitely wants every single one of these at our Thanksgiving for next week. So the first one is a cranberry bacon green bean that originally had goat cheese in it, but I did not have goat cheese. So I substituted it for Gruyere cheese. And you guys, this recipe is so incredibly simple and easy, and it is just phenomenal. Like the flavor components and things you wouldn't think would be really, really good, but it turns out absolutely incredible. So all I did was just wash off all of my green beans. I went ahead and snapped them into a little baking dish there. And then I go ahead and place some olive oil all over top of those. And then I'm just getting them in my oven that is preheated at 350 to begin to cook. I cook them for about 15-ish minutes, basically halfway through. And while those are starting to cook and get tender, I am peeling our sweet potatoes for our sweet potato casserole with mini marshmallows. Now, originally, I was looking for some different sweet potato variation recipes, and I came across this one. It's different than the traditional sweet potatoes that you would serve at Thanksgiving. It's a casserole instead, and oh my goodness, friends, it's the best recipe out of all of the ones that we are trying together. This one, hands down, is our favorite, and it will definitely be a go-to for us from here on out. Now I'm just going ahead and pulling the green beans out of the oven. These had cooked for about 15-ish minutes, and we are going to start getting the other ingredients placed in here. So I cooked up about 6 or 7 pieces of bacon, got them really, really crispy, and then I'm just going to go ahead and dice them up and get them in our green beans. Now, I don't know if you guys can tell, but I was not feeling good still on this day. So a lot of the things I did not measure. I'm not really a measurer, you guys. I really don't follow recipes to a T very often just because anytime that I measure things, the flavors and, like the ingredient ratios and stuff come out a little bit funny in my opinion. But I will leave everything down below if you would like to follow this exactly. But just know that I kind of winged it and added things additionally that were not called for. And everything still turned out really, really good. So once you get your bacon and the green beans, I just go ahead and gave that a really good mix in. And then I am also adding in a bunch of these cranberries. Now, I have never tried a green bean dish like this with the bacon and the cranberries, but it was so incredibly delicious, friends. Very, very simple, like I said, and just really, really good. The cranberries give it a really, really good amount of sweetness. And then I also just throw in additional seasonings. You could add in whatever else you wanted. I did garlic salt, and a little bit of onion powder. And then I also went ahead and added in a little bit of brown sugar. My grandma used to make green beans with bacon, and then she would add brown sugar into them. And I don't know why I had the thought to do that, but I was like, I bet that would taste really, really good. And it doesn't call to do that, but I'm really, really happy that I did it because, again, it just gives it another like layer of sweetness that is really, really tasty. So I just went ahead and let that cook for probably an additional 5-ish minutes just to let the bacon and the cranberries start to get soft. And then for the last 5 to 10 minutes, this is where I go ahead and add in the cheese. Now, like I said, this calls for goat cheese. And I don't even think I have ever tried goat cheese before. I don't even know where I would get that. But in the picture, they basically just put little pieces like this up on top and let it kind of melt in the oven. So that is just kind of what I went with. But instead, I did the Gruyere cheese. You could use mozzarella, you could use Gouda, you could use whatever kind of cheese you wanted. I also thought maybe like a smoked Gouda would be good, but this is what these looked like as the final result. And I am telling you what, it is absolutely delicious. Definitely worth giving a try if you would like to serve something new at your like holiday Thanksgiving for your family. But now we are going to get started on the sweet potato casserole. Believe it or not, I am not like a sweet potato person. I don't make sweet potato recipes. I've never made the sweet potatoes for Thanksgiving. I've always just eaten everybody else's. And I think most of the time it's just like brown sugar, maybe a little bit of like maple syrup and sweet potatoes is the traditional way that you would serve this at Thanksgiving. But whenever I saw this casserole, I was like, that just looks so fun. And it's really, really fun. It's a really, really good recipe. So this called for 3 eggs, and then you are basically going to just combine all of the ingredients in your pot and start mashing the sweet potatoes like you would mashed potatoes. And then after you get the sweet potatoes mashed, then we start adding in a bunch of really yummy ingredients. So the first one that it called for was a bunch of vanilla. And again, I don't ever measure vanilla, I measure with my heart. I don't know if anybody else can relate to that, but that is how I do it. And then I added cream. So this calls for whole milk. I did not have whole milk, but I had 2 things of cream, for another recipe that I had made in the fridge that just needed used up, and I was like, "You know what? Cream is probably gonna be just fine in this," so that's what I opted to add, along with a bunch of brown sugar. So after that, you just again mash this up, combine it really, really well. And then once it's entirely smooth, feel free to use a hand mixer if you would like. I had another recipe that I needed to use my hand mixer for, so I didn't want to get it dirty. But you could definitely use a hand mixer and make this really, really smooth. But after you get all of that done, you're just going to transfer this into your 9 by 13 baking dish. And then we are going to make a streusel topping to go over this, and then also add the mini marshmallows. Do you guys have your Thanksgiving and everything all planned out already? I feel like I am so behind. Being sick for 5 days, like when the upcoming holidays, is just the worst time of year to get sick and have all of that stuff happen. I still don't have like a definite day that we are going to do it. Sometimes my family can't make it on the exact day, so we do like a different day so that everybody can come, and that works out really well. But I'm curious to know what your guys' Thanksgiving plans are and what the recipes and things are that you guys are making, or what is always like a traditional recipe that you love and always make. Definitely let me know down below, just because I think it's fun to know what everybody else does. So, the second part of this recipe is, like I said, the streusel topping. So, it's basically just flour, brown sugar, butter, and pecans, and it becomes like super, super crumbly as you mix it. And that is how it's supposed to be. So, if you start mixing this, if you make it, and you're like, "Why is this so thick and crumbly?" That is definitely the way that the recipe is supposed to be. So you basically just spread this all over your sweet potato mix, and then whenever this melts down in the oven, it turns into like almost like a glaze. I don't know how to explain it, but it is the best part of the dish. It's so incredibly delicious. So once you get that done, then you are going to top this with all of the mini marshmallows, and you can add as much or as little as you would like. I think it called for 1 cup, but I just basically made sure the top of it was completely covered. And then you place this in your oven, at 350 and cook it for about roughly 30-ish minutes or until the marshmallows are completely golden brown. And like I said, out of all of them, this is the one that I definitely, definitely recommend you try. And then for the last recipe, this is one that I thought me and Sissy could do together and it would just be really fun. This is a pecan pie dip. And doesn't that sound good? And it turns out so incredible, like way better than I was even expecting. So if you are a pecan pie lover, you will absolutely love this. It's very, very simple and very, very easy to make, especially with the kids if you're looking for something for them to do or to help you with during the holiday season. So I'm just letting Sissy spoon in a bunch of cream cheese, and then it also calls for a bunch of Cool Whip and then powdered sugar. And then once you get all of that in there, you're just going to go ahead and hand mix this. So this is the recipe that I needed my hand mixer for. So you get this mixed in really, really smooth. And then you're gonna go ahead and put this in a pie dish. Now, around here, we lick spoons and the little utensils. If you don't do that at your house, I'm so sorry. You probably won't like this portion of the video, but that is one of my fondest memories as a kid, like cooking with my mom and my grandma. I would always get to lick the spoon or the utensils we use, so I always let Sissy do it. And she approved of the base of this right off the bat. As you can see, she's very, very excited. So we get our little pie dish filled up and she gets it evenly spread. You just want to make sure that you kind of like keep it off the sides, almost like a bowl shape is how I would say it, because once the top of this goes in, you don't want it running over the sides. And this is why I shouldn't record whenever I'm sick, because I thought I was recording and I didn't. So this is easy. It's just the butter, corn syrup, pecans, 1 egg, and then a bunch of brown sugar. And you just melt that over a pot. Let it cool down completely before you put it over the top of this. And then you can chill all of this before you serve it. But me and Sissy couldn't wait to try it. So after I spread all of this out on the top. I called her over and we used pretzels. You can use apples or whatever you would like to try this with, but this one was definitely a winner. And again, I highly, highly recommend. So I just wanted to say thank you guys so much for watching. Sorry I've been sick. I've missed you all. I hope you enjoyed the video and let me know if you guys try any of these recipes, and I'll see you in the next one.